We are Ole Miss Rebels. As Mississippi's flagship university, we dig deeper, see farther, work harder. We pioneered human organ transplants. We helped prove Einstein's theory of gravitational waves. We are conducting life-changing research that solves the problems of today. We are Ole Miss, transforming lives and the world.
Welcome to the POMcast with Stephen Willis. Now we're going to do things a little different. We are going to provide an honest look at Ole Miss athletics for the fan, by the fan, and of the fan. That is what we do. Hell be to me. I'm just kidding. Tune in for some Ole Miss sports news. We're going to give it to you straight. Yeah, right now. The POMcast starts now. It happens now. Holy cow. Listen to me. It's starting. Well, it's going to start right about now. Good morning, good morning, good morning. Welcome to the POMcast on this Friday morning. We're still going, we're still kicking, we're still going all along, and I think this is the end of our third month doing this show. So thank you very much for watching. We have a lot of exciting stuff going on. We're going to break a record this month for our most streams for our podcast. That's fantastic. I think we rose in subscribers by 10 or 15 on YouTube. And we're also bringing in 300 to 700 on Twitter. It's a fantastic month, and we're growing everything. And we appreciate you all tuning in for the show. Before we get started, I want to tell you about the Vault Society. That is the Ole Miss Athletics Foundation's major push is for the Vault Society. It's a 5-year commitment of support. Membership starts at $5,000 a year, and there's a benefit chart on the site. We'll tell you the site in just a second. All gifts to Ole Miss between now and June 30th receive triple points. Red points are non-deductible and go towards priority seating. Blue points are 90% tax deductible and go towards parking and non-home ticketed games, postseason, bowl games, neutral site, etc. For any questions, you can go to the website at give2athletics.com. That is give2athletics.com. Again, we were telling you all about a lot of great stuff going on with Ole Miss, but basically I think this week is the deadline to lock in your seating points for this football season. So jump in all over this. You have a chance to do it. This would be it. And then after that, it's going to lock in. But the triple points go until June 30th. So I guess still have a little bit of time left on that. Now, you can catch us on Twitter at The Stephen Willis and at The Rebel Walk. You can catch us on Facebook at facebook.com/POMcast. Thank you for commenting and taking part in the show there. I've seen it. I'm trying to get to as many comments as I can. On YouTube, you can catch us at Positively Ole Miss. Hit the bell, subscribe. You'll not only know when we're streaming, but you'll know what we're streaming about, and you can determine whether or not you want to get on at that point. And of course, we are on Twitch at Positively Ole Miss. All one word. You can catch us there. So that's what we're looking at. Counting the drop frames on there, so see what's going on. Looks like it's doing pretty well. We're also on audio at Positively Ole Miss on Google Podcast, Apple Podcast, Stitcher, SoundCloud, Spotify, iHeartRadio, TuneIn Radio, and of course Pandora. We're also on smaller podcatchers, but it'd take us the rest of the show to do that. It's only a half-hour show, but I mean, it's a big month for the podcast portion, as we are going to break the record for our most viewed month this month. And we've increased over March by 300%. Thank you very much. That's all you guys. Thank you for listening. I'm trying to provide information directly from the source with some opinion, but not really that much. This isn't really like a sports talk radio program. This is more like a news program. To where you're just presenting information and going off of what you're seeing. I'm trusting you to basically disseminate what's being put out, because that's what's going on. There's not a whole lot of opinion there. There's some when it comes to football, because that's my wheelhouse. I did football forever. I've watched more film on the span of a decade than probably anybody. Everything dealing with high school breakdowns, all this was going down whenever I was working at Rivals, and then before then, when I was the video coordinator at Ole Miss. It's a fairly good resume. I do want to thank everybody for watching. So I'll go over my resume, which I will from time to time, to let new people know. I was in the Navy, which taught me the video trade and got me started in the video trade from 99 to 2004. While I was stationed in, believe it or not, Italy in 2003, I did an interview with Coach Cutt. From there, after I got all done with the interview and everything, I thought, hey, I should go back to Ole Miss and go to school and work for Coach Cutt for the football program, which I did. I came back then and I worked for the school. From there, I stayed at Ole Miss and was named video coordinator by Ed Orgeron way back in the day. It wasn't anything that was going to work out. I did it for about a year. After being an assistant for a couple of years before that, and then I moved to Rivals.com when it was Yahoo, not Verizon now, and I was their first hiring, and I was there for the better part of a decade. From there, I ran the whole video library and determined what was cut, what we were doing, things like that. I didn't do like all the travel stuff that you see all at the camps. That stuff was boring. Mine was more game film and actually looking at them actually performing in the sport. See, the video, what people didn't realize back in the day, and this has all changed now because after 2009, there were so many cutbacks. So it kind of got built back to a minimum instead of built back to where it was, because we went through 7 different layoffs after the 2009 crash. And several great people were gone. But before then, you basically had the camp circuit and all that, going out and videotaping that, and you could film the one-on-ones and people would watch that. And then you had the game circuit, and they were put together by the analyst. And back then, Mike Farrell, Barton Simmons, and all that were under the same roof. They all worked for Bobby Burton in the recruiting class, and everything was a little bit more dug in. Well, that kind of went away. That went away basically because of staffing, and everything became efficiency organized. What do we keep? What do we do? And eventually, I left and went and pursued other things, started working in local TV. From there, I was the NG coordinator. Basically, everything with getting a television shot on the air, satellite, live view, however you're done, that's what I did. That's where I also developed a lot of my skills for this. And that's the reason this looks so good. So that was thankful to them when I worked at WSMV. From there, I just went and sold computers. I needed some sales experience, honestly, for what I was doing. So I did 5 years of selling computers. Thought I wanted to get out of the journalism game and the broadcast game and all this stuff, but I really didn't. As you can see, I got back in. And over the last year, I moved to Florida, completely relocated to Florida, and basically worked to completely change around my life. You're talking about life-changing type situation in Florida. So that allowed me to do this. I bought about $20,000 worth of equipment, set it up, and started thinking about how to execute it. And over the last year, you've seen a gradual execution towards this day. This was my goal day of being everything kind of set up the way it should be. Was today, and everything kind of really kicks off Monday. But I wanted to basically get everything the way they should be. Now, with the drop frames and everything we're still going to try to break this, and we're still going to have episodes where there's a little bit of mistake. And we're trying to do ads. We're trying to do all the stuff that you see on the screen. And sometimes after a while, that'll cause drop frames and things like that. We're not exactly performing at a huge capacity of the system, but we need to see what it does. So that's what it's done. If you have a problem with the audio doing that, you can catch us on a podcast and everything should be fine. But we are still working on that, and we're still looking forward to trying to get the most cutting edge product that we can get for you on this platform. So thank you very much for watching. I'm very excited of what's to come, and if you're interested in buying ads on the show, there are several available starting at $10 per 1,000 streams. I mean, it's very affordable, but thank you very much for watching. Elijah Moore did not go last night. He did not get drafted in the first round. They're expecting him to get drafted here pretty quick. He's about the third or fourth best available per Mel Kiper. But, you know, that's always a thing. You're talking about draft lists and everything else that's going on. So it's, you just take it with a grain of salt. But I've seen different mock drafts talking about the second round. I've seen Elijah Moore as low as the Titans at like 56. I think the Jaguars need a wide receiver. They also need an offensive lineman. They need a little bit of everything, I think. But after the Jaguars had a fantastic draft on day one, now it's time for day two. And Elijah Moore could be a good pick for them in day two because the offense is the problem. They're going to build the offense, and because Urban Meyer is an offensive guy. That's what he wants. That's what he likes. So, be careful with underestimating what they're willing to do, but understand what Urban Meyer is. He's probably not going to draft his defense right now. He'll get that fixed in other ways throughout but he's going to draft these college guys because he's worked in TV for the last couple of years. He's fairly infinitely acquainted to those guys and what they can do pretty well. He's probably in his mind played it, and Trevor Lawrence and Travis Etienne, that's an interesting start. Interesting start to this team. They're going to be competing for the ACC Atlantic in no time. I'm just kidding. But when it comes to Elijah Moore, everybody pretty much needs a wide receiver. He's a good one. He's the next one available. So I can see him drafted as early as the first pick today. I see him falling as low as the Titans next pick, and that's kind of the window that he's in. And then after that, I think the third round's tonight. You could hear Kenny Yeboah and Royce Newman called as well. So it should be fairly interesting. We're going to take a short break. When we come back, we are going to talk a little baseball because we like baseball and we like talking baseball. And we're also going to talk a little bit of soccer tonight as the Rebels take on USC in the round of 32. Good luck to them. But we're going to take this short break and we'll be right back.
You want to answer that, don't you? I bet it's just killing you seeing the soft glow just inches away. Someone wants to tell you something or ask you something. Oh, come on, answer it already! Just so we're clear, that wasn't my fault. Next time, ignore your inner voice. Don't text and drive. A message from Florida's trusted choice independent insurance agents.
Hey, this is Stephen Willis. I just want you to stick around a little longer. We're going to get back to the podcast right after these messages.
Tonight, nearly 40,000 veterans across the country are homeless. These men and women have pledged to serve our nation, and now we must serve them. Landlords across the country have helped make significant progress in reducing veteran homelessness by making housing available, but there is more that we can do to bring our veterans home. Visit www.va.gov/homeless to see how you can get involved. And if you are a veteran and you are experiencing homelessness, please call 877-4AID-VET. Thank you.
All right, welcome back to segment 2. We're going to get out of here fairly quickly in segment 2, give you a couple minutes back potentially. Ole Miss versus South Carolina tonight. I think it's 7:30. Ole Miss versus USC tonight at 5 o'clock. That's the soccer, the College Cup is the round of 32. Ole Miss wins that game. I think they get the winner of Duke and maybe either Siena or Arizona State. So worth keeping an eye on. I'm looking forward to seeing exactly how this looks and exactly what this works out. I mean, college soccer works a little bit different than the game that most people will recognize. So don't get thrown off too much about that, but support the ladies as they go on and take on the USC Trojans tonight. They win. That's a Sweet 16 in the College Cup in their future. So we'll see how that goes. Round of 32 tonight. Ole Miss versus South Carolina, I think at 6:30 or 7:30. The time's not right in front of me, so I don't want to guess too much about that. On the SEC Network, South Carolina, you can catch a full preview down here. By the way, I'm not going to get into the weeds too much about it, but South Carolina hits the long ball. They have a pitcher on Friday that has pretty electric stuff in the mid 90s, nice curveball, and they have two guys over double digits when it comes to home runs. So we have to be a little bit careful, especially in Gunnar Hoagland's first appearance since he kind of tweaked himself. He apparently looked pretty good, and we'll let Mike Bianco tell you what's going on as we do our baseball highlights through a media availability yesterday. So stick around.
Health enough. I mean, obviously, it was a concern for all of us. Just had some stiffness, like I said, in the bicep tendon, and just didn't feel right, and didn't health enough. I mean, obviously. It was a concern for all of us. Just had some stiffness, like I said, in the bicep tendon, and just didn't feel right, and didn't want to push them. And it was really, I think at times where he may have wanted to go, and we weren't sure that he could do it. And at the end of the day, the decision was not to pitch him last weekend. But Monday. He played catch, and there was no stiffness left, and threw bullpen on Tuesday, was excellent, and looked like he's looked for 11 straight weeks, and felt great yesterday, and all smiles and ready to go, and just saw him literally about 15 minutes ago, and asked him again, and he said, "I feel terrific, I'm ready to go." And so really, I mean, the way you asked the question, and I appreciate it, I don't think that really sums it up. Sums it up that he feels 100% and he's ready to go. We'll go Hoagland, Nikhazy, and McDaniel. I think we just take it game by game and weekend by weekend, and we're proud of what he did last weekend. Not surprised by it. I mean, we've all seen him as a starter and look terrific and be electric, and we made a move just because it had a couple bumps in the road, but I mean we still have a ton of confidence in Derek and in whatever role it is, as a starter or as a reliever. Some of them it's just where he didn't pitch that poorly. It's just as it can happen in baseball, just some bad results, some bad fortune that's happened to him, and some of it's been his own doing. And so but he certainly, it's hard for, and I've said this to him, it's hard for me to imagine us to have the success that we want without Derek Diamond having a significant impact on the weekend, pitching innings. When you look back a couple weekends ago, in Starkville, where he basically pitched one unconsequential inning in the ninth there, or bottom of the eighth, I guess. You look back at 27 innings of baseball, and you got a healthy Derek Diamond. If he doesn't pitch, I think it's going to be, hard for us to navigate through a weekend. And so if it's in the bullpen this weekend, it is. But I'm not going to say that at some point he's not back as one of the starters. But we need him to impact the weekend on the mound in some capacity. I think really the thing that you try to say as a coach is to not pitch differently. If there's usually a reason that you're doing it, and if you've had success, try to figure out at the end of the day. I think sometimes it's made up a little too much of what you're getting at. That you got to do something different as a starter, as a reliever. And I think that's where, kids and players get in trouble. I mean, I watched Lance Lynn do it, right? I mean, Lance Lynn was a starter here, started his whole career and started out in the big leagues, as a reliever, and had a lot of success, with the Cardinals early on in his career. But now we look at him, as a 10-year vet and, a great starter in the big leagues. I mean, at the end of the day, it's the pitcher versus hitter and getting outs and being able to do that. So stay in that moment and just whatever, if it's getting 3 outs or it's getting, 6 innings of outs. I mean, they're all important. And so, but I think it's probably the biggest thing is, that if people have to do something different is to control the emotions, figure out how to get loose a little quicker. But Derek's been able to do that. He's already pitched a few times out of the bullpen. He's done it in high school. He was a position player. So we don't have any reservations that, he can, fill.
That was Mike Bianco talking a little bit about this weekend series during a media availability last night. Gunnar Hoagland will take the hill tonight, and it's good to get Gunnar back. We could have used him last week. Last week, if he'd have pitched on Friday, the whole tenor of the series could be in a better situation. But we'll get him back tonight, which is good. Now, whenever you're dealing with a team that has as much pop as South Carolina has, it does make you nervous with somebody so reliant on fastballs. And between all 3 of our pitchers, this is a fastball-dominating staff, and they're going to be power guys. So we'll see how it goes. I'm very interested and really look forward to seeing how this moves forward. So let's see how we need to win this series. We can't drop 5 in a row. We need to see how it goes with South Carolina. This will either help us or hurt us in our case for hosting, and that is due out in the next couple of weeks, since they're doing that a little bit early because this has just been a weird, wacky year. It's worth paying attention to. I want to see some energy in the baseball game. It's going to be a big weekend for Peyton Chatagnier because as he goes, so do the hitters in the Ole Miss lineup, especially without Tim Elko. Although Tim Elko is taking swings. He actually is taking swings. He's taking some BP, and he might be working towards a pinch hit appearance or a DH appearance. He's not going to play in the field this year, but there's a potential opportunity for him to come out there and help the team in little ways possible. And remember, when it comes to this they wouldn't let him do something if there was a chance of making it worse. He would not be doing it if he didn't want to do it. So if he takes a pinch hit, do not play the what-if game about what that means for his hypothetical pro career. It's just not worth it. Do not invent drama. Also, before we get out of here, of course, you can join us on our Discord at Positively Ole Miss for all the conversation and the comments at YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, all of that. You can comment over there at Positively Ole Miss Discord. Thank you very much. We're going to give you a couple minutes back today. I hope you have a great weekend. I hope you really maximize what you can do, and let's hope this is a positive weekend. Good luck to the soccer team against USC tonight. Good luck to the baseball team against South Carolina tonight. Yeah, it's USC and USC. We'll see how that goes. But until next time, hotty toddy.